we got some big decisions to make, depending on how you look at it. Rengifo, Loaisiga, and Soroka, all exclusive free agents. You guys know how this works. This process, I wheel spin the decision of the player. So Rengifo is going to test free agency. Mike Soroka, we'll see what he's going to do. I was kind of hemming and hawing a little bit back and forth on whether or not I wanted to bring him back or not. But I wanted to bring him back, and unfortunately, he's just going to go ahead and select free agency. Anyway, Loaisiga, I decided I didn't want to bring him back, so no wheel spin needed for that. Now, for guys that have arbitration, I also did the same thing. I'm going to wheel spin whether or not they're going to go for arbitration, or if we need to sign them to a long-term deal, which therefore buys out their arbitration contract. So we see that happening from time to time with actual real major league clubs. Sometimes they will forego the arbitration years and they'll sign a guy and lock him up for long-term, thinking that the agreement that they're going to come to terms with in a longer-term deal will spread itself out and actually save some money, which is kind of the thought process going into this wheel spin deal anyway. If I'm going to sign a guy like Logan O'Hoppe for 3 seasons, I want that to cover the arbitration years or to completely bypass them completely, right? So a guy like Chase Silseth, he's got 1 to 4 arbitration. He got the long-term deal spin. We're going to basically buy out the arbitration years. A guy like Jose Suarez, he's going to get offered arbitration because that's where his wheel spun. That's where his wheel landed. I'm not going to show you all the wheel spins. I feel like that would be kind of boring, but Taylor Ward, kind of a perfect example here, right? So this year is his arbitration year. This is what his arbitration contract would be worth, is $6.4 million. And free agency, 2 years plus. We're going to sign for 2 years because, again, he landed on the sign a long-term contract side of the wheel spin. So that's what we're going to offer for Taylor Ward, is 2 more seasons. And then Braxton Garrett, tough call here with Braxton Garrett. I'm going to offer him a contract. Everybody else here up like Jimmy Herget, I'm not going to bring him back. You know, this is a tough call. 75 overall pitcher, 32 years old. He's starting to get a little up there in age. K/9 actually went down pretty significantly from last season, but I'm going to let him go. Zach Thompson, I want to bring him back. We acquired him in a trade last season. He's a nice little left-hander in our bullpen. Willie Calhoun and Kyle Lewis, we're not going to elect to bring those guys back. Now, for contracts that are renewable and tendering contracts, I just went through here and speed ran all this and signed everybody up. So anybody that was worth noting that I let go of, I would have showed it to you, but pretty much everybody that I wanted, I got back. So we're good there. Now, Zach Gallen and Guerrero, Vladdy Guerrero Jr., what a move that would have been. Bring him in to an Angels uniform, like father, like son, following the same path, right? Would have been cool, but elected not to go that route. I feel like we do need another big bat in the lineup. Josh Naylor would be kind of a good fit. Will Smith, possibly. I'm basically looking for a DH because, you know, Sean O'Well, his fielding numbers at first base are not that great. He's kind of my natural DH at this point. We got Spencer Horwitz at first base. I don't know if he's really quite cutting it there or not. So there's some options there. Lane Thomas, I saw him. Again, Vladdy Guerrero Jr. is an option, but, you know, these guys can get kind of expensive, and I don't really want to break the bank quite yet in this franchise series. So I'm going to kind of forego the big bat, I think, the guys that are up there. So we're going to focus on our pitching staff. We're going to focus on relievers, and I really like Hunter Harvey. The velo at 95, he's got good break, good control, and all of the per-9s are pretty solid too. So Hunter Harvey is speaking to me. Tyler Rogers is kind of talking to me here too. He'd be a nice little cheap option. He's one of those guys that you throw out there with bases loaded situation or at first and third. You need a double play ball. He's got the sinker pitch to do it. Funky delivery, funky angle. Guy that's going to get hitters off balance, so he'd be perfect for that type of situation. So I'm going to offer both Harvey and Rogers a bullpen deal. I think they're pretty cheap, all things considered, and we're going to make that move. Now, Patrick Sandoval, he's 29 years old. You could say that he's entering in his prime. We've got him locked up for 2 more seasons. Is he going to get better? I think so, but how long are we going to have him in his prime seasons, right? Or is he going to turn 30 years old and start to regress? So I'm at the point here, we just went 500, we went 81 and 81. I'm going to shop him. I'm going to look around for some deals. That's not a bad trade to go get Brett Beatty at third base, but this one's really nice too. Jesus Sanchez, 28 years old, 78 overall. We're looking for that DH option. He's not bad. Trevor Rogers, 76A, a left-hander. We could basically swap left-handers here, Sandoval and Rogers. I don't know, it seems like and we're getting an extra hitter out of it. It seems like a nice condensed trade that makes sense, but we're not going to do that one. We're going to go to the Brewers, and we're going to take on Christian Yelich, that big hefty contract, and Jefferson Caro, a catcher. Big-time prospect in the Milwaukee Brewers organization. Big thing here is Yelich is 34 years old. And he's got a couple more seasons on that contract. So it's expensive. We're already paying for Mike Trout. But wouldn't it be kind of cool to get Yelich and Trout? A nice little 1-2 punch right there in the outfield. And then with the offensive players that we do have here, maybe our offense might get a lot better. Sandoval, 13-10. He's never been a losing pitcher for us in this series. But again, I just feel like now is the best time to go trade him. And plus, we get a really good catching prospect out of the deal. We get another hitter. Yelich is back home in California. It just seems perfect, and he looks dang good in that Angels uniform. I like it. I think it was a really sneaky little move for us. And I think it's going to pan out for us big time this season, heading into Season 3. Now, we're not done yet. Again, like I said, I wanted to address our pitching. And we just got rid of Patrick Sandoval. We added on to our budget with the Christian Yelich deal. So I'm kind of looking to make a move that gets our staff kind of the way it was with Sandoval on the roster, but he's no longer here. So I'm kind of looking for a bargain bin move like Nestor Cortez to be a nice addition. He's a left-hander. I love his funky throwing delivery, but Chris Paddock, I've always liked Chris Paddock when he was back with the Padres. He's been bouncing around a couple times over Major League Baseball, but you look at what he did last season, an 11-13 record, really respectable ERA. I think he could do well for us here in an Angels uniform. So it's a couple of moves across the league. We got Lane Thomas going to Cleveland. Paddock is going to sign up with us here. I like the move. Braxton Garrett did not re-sign with us when we offered him that deal. I kind of want to bring him back here. We've still got money to play with, so we could pull this move off. He's still kind of young at 28, and we know what he's going to be. Sandoval was 28 or 29, but adding in another guy like that, another piece, I think it would be good for us. Vladdy's going to go with the Nationals instead of us. Again, we didn't really go after him, but the point being, he's going to go out to the Nationals now versus the American League with Toronto, and look out for the Washington Nats. Now, we did sign this guy, Anthony Mysowitz. I think that's how you would say that, a left-hander. Again, just a bargain bin little ad there to help our bullpen out a little bit. More so a minor league guy that I'd like to call up with an injury or something like that, another left-handed arm that we could use. Now, draft lottery, of course, we didn't really qualify to get inside the lottery, Like, we weren't going to move up or down a lot there. So nothing really to showcase, but the A's, the Tigers, making up top tier of the list. So closers, Richard Lovelady, I don't know. He's a new guy, wanted to show it to you. I'm not really too thrilled about it, excited about it, but we had basically one true closer on the roster. Just felt like that was a good move to make. All right, guys, so let's head out here to spring training. We're here at the bottom of the fourth inning. Christian Yelich hitting leadoff in today's game. Gonna lace this down the right field corner for a double. Like it, love it. Now here's one of our youngsters, Thomas Woodson. You guys remember this dude? You remember him? One of our top prospects that we drafted in Season 1. Well, yeah, time's flying. He's ready to get a spring training call-up, and he grounds out. Unfortunately, could not move Christian Yelich over. Deep drive from Mike Trout, going to send Yelich from second to third after the, not sack fly, but he moved him over, right? He did his job. Nolan Shawnuel, deep drive to left field, going opposite field. That baby's gone. Over the tops of the wall. See what I did there? Wasn't really hard hit, 96.7 on the exit velo, but Brady Singer gives it up, and Angels are now up 2-0. You're in the bottom of the fourth inning. Look at Spencer Horwitz says, don't you dare Goldie, don't you dare go after another first baseman. That's my job. 431 on the distance. Good for 103 exit velo. Love it. Spencer Horwitz kind of coming into his own as a starting first baseman for us. Now we got Salvi Perez. Deep drive to right field towards the bullpen. Jordan Adams leaping for that one. That's going to be way out of his reach, but Salvador Perez hits a home run. First of his spring training. We are in game number 1, by the way. Top 7th here. We got a ground ball. That is Chavez over to Fuentes. Double play. There you go. Nice job by Kenny Rosenberg. So you guys are seeing some little flashes here from our young guys like Chavez and Fuentes, guys that we drafted in a couple of drafts in this franchise series. Here's Luis Paniagua. We just drafted this dude last year. So you want to talk about how good of a player that he really is. Like, he's ready to make an impact now. He's also going to steal a base here, too. He's got some wheels for a little short guy, a little short, stubby guy. I like Luis Paniagua. He might turn into something. Jefferson Caro, 0 for 2 already in the ballgame. Make him 0 for 3 there. Fuentes also 0 for 2, but that looks to be possibly a base hit. Yes, it will be. A 2-out knock. Looking for more runs here. It is 3-2. Looking for a little pinch hit action for Jordan Adams. And you know what? I think let's just leave him in there. Right-hander against right-hander. Let's see how he does. He turns on that four-seam fastball. That baby is long gone. It's a 3-run shot for Jordan Adams. That's huge. That's huge for him. I don't think that he's going to make the team. I think that our roster is pretty much set. Like, we have our starters in mind. There might be that one guy in spring training that really blows up, makes us kind of rethink some things, but Jordan Adams, you know, he did go 2 for 2, home run and a double today. Might make it a tough call for me. He might be a 26th guy. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see how he plays throughout the rest of spring training, but in my mind, he's really got to just stand out. He's got to be a standout. If he hits 270, I think it's just not worth it. You just send him back down to AAA and see how he does from there. So spring training, we're going to simulate the rest of it and see how our lineups did. Our pitching staff was atrocious. Go figure that. It always is with sim. I don't get it. Spring training numbers are absolutely awful. Bullpen was not too bad. Hunter Harvey was good. Ben Joyce was great. Thought I saw it. It was a 0 ERA at that point for Joyce. Pyops was good too. Chavez, top 50 prospect. Not a very good batting average. Thomas Woodson was respectable, but I think that those guys really didn't show me too much. Nico, 172. You know, it's all limited sample sizes, guys, but, you know, I think that, again, our 26-man roster is pretty much set. You know, we've got guys like Chang, who didn't have a good spring, but Ohapi's in there, Yelich, Neto, Shawnuel, Kyle Farmer. Like, we've got dudes. You know, there's not a lot of extra moves, not a lot of extra space for guys to, you know, even if somebody was a big standout, I think our roster is pretty much set for the long haul. 162-game season, you got to be very smart with who you call up, right? So our pitching staff is set. Our lineup is set. We got Shawnuel at the designated hitter spot, Trout in center field, Yelich in left field, Sean Fuentes at third. He can also kind of bounce around with second and shortstop there between him and Neto and Chang. So those three spots going to kind of fluctuate throughout the season, so we'll see how it all shakes out from there. But we do have Orelvis Martinez on the bench at third base, and Kyle Farmer is a backup first baseman. So, guys, that's it for the video. Leave a like if you like this thing. Next time I see you will be for opening day against the Toronto Blue Jays. I'll see you in the next one. As always, thank you so much for watching, and peace.